right now it's very important to remain very, very constant in great relations and to make sure everybody's under healthy living standards. All right? Stay focused on constant education and the good word on things people go through, what's harmful to all, and remain in good standing. It's very important to have everybody staying used to each other. All right? One nation, togetherness under God, with God leading all of our decisions, everything that works. Making sure everybody is under mandatory, healthy, luxurious mansions. Making sure everybody has a brand new vehicle. Making sure all surroundings are healthy, animals healthy, their food's healthy, our food's healthy. Life keeps rapidly producing. They also need to be informed equally. Constant education is very important. Also, the good word. So people won't get out of line. They won't drive their attention on wrongdoings. So we give examples through horror movies, through the law, on media. We have all of the healthy outlets and resources now that we didn't have back then. There will never be war ever again in life, ever again. Our great relations ensure that we come back home and we're respected with our privacy, and that our consumptions are respected. Now it comes to a mutual understanding. Oh, all right, now we're left alone. Why? Because we take care of one another. That's why it's very important to ensure that nothing happens to our great relationships, all the equity that all of our families have built together. There's rules to follow so we can keep on being healthy, washing our hands, make sure, we ensure great customer service, always implementing these healthy habits. And that's how we're respected when we come back home, and our privacy is respected when we come back home. And that's how, if you want a partner, you want good food, good fruits, a nice life, unbothered, that's how you get it. But there's rules we all have to follow together, because there's education that we have obtained that were very life-threatening back then. And sometimes deadly situations can occur very innocently, just off the fact of driving our attention on money, profit, material things, not knowing that was a demand and motivation for labor work. Now it's getting very convenient and very accessible to make a big buck in a very short amount of time. A click of a button, a blink of an eye. So now we lacked workers, we saw. They wanted to make a big buck and travel the world too. And nobody's stopping anybody. But we saw that we lacked workers. And it's because they weren't getting paid enough to even make a comfortable living. And now that's changing with healthy wage increases. Every staff member, $10, $20. A separate account, you take it to the bank for health care on your establishment, to make sure everybody remains healthy no matter how the economy fluctuates. $10, $20 every staff member for a guaranteed wage increase every 3 months. And that'll never stop. That's going to afford their health care. That's going to afford them to be very well groomed and keep up a good hygiene. They're going to want to be motivated. And now they're going to be living in mansions, everybody equally blessed. Now we just get right to it. Now every job that you come across, you just know it's needed so you can keep on having that great life to obtain. so you can keep on having great relationships and constant education because a new life keeps coming in. So remember, God is good every time. God is good all the time. God every turn. All right? So you just stay focused. Because then now, that good healthy wage increase, perfect. Now we're all building. We all have partnerships with the banks. The banks have construction workers that they're very close with to ensure no discrepancies from point A to point Z, making sure before funds get distributed off equity, making sure that they already have the construction workers on a set day and paid along with the equity, and then from day one of the project starts to the end, side by side with the bank, and nothing but profit and healthiness for all. All right. And keep it fun, keep your workplaces fun. A lot of times we notice nonprofit organizations, and this is what creates good equity too, great relationships where they know they're being cared for and they're being taken serious. And this also delivers demand and interest to new job opportunities too. The good word comes in many, many forms. And togetherness, that also makes an ease of having rules followed if needed to be altered on these rules to make sure teamwork is established and very effective with no conflict or disruptions. This is why we remain constant and also being a helping hand all the time. So when work needs to be done to solve problems and we get right to the solution, okay, perfect, yeah, yes, you got that, yeah, we're on it. All right? It needs to be making sense, because a lot of times you stop remaining constant on why we're respected when we come back home, and our consumptions are respected and our privacy is respected, because we're all neighbors with all of our surrounding countries. We are established based because we care for the people. We're healthcare providers. If they're undocumented, we don't want them in harm's way. We want them, found if needing immediate emergency attention. So they have to be documented so they can get the health care they need. They're showered, they're clothed, they're fed, and they're given job opportunities to build side by side with us and give them a nice big home. They want to keep affording that home, they keep on building side by side with us. And corrections, all police, military, border patrol, along with the detainees side by side is way more effective. And everybody doing the same task, having the same life. Everybody that comes out of the house, they just do things and do it for a home, clothes, to be fed, a partner. Well, they want great relations. They want to be respected when they come back home. I'm not going to be having anybody out here that made a toxic habit for themselves and hard-headedness ways put harm to all of our brave women and men. All right? There's no reason to be confused. That's childish behavior. Now we have that right direction in helping hands and manpower. That's all we are. Our combat and training, all it is just to eliminate and get rid of any healthcare risks. Because all that toxicity, then it confuses others, and then people get careless on keeping up with you know, healthcare, and then it becomes a big problem. So after that, we just keep back on TBT. We get right to building homes, cutting grass, engineering, caring for the animals, diving, welding, waiting, cooking, cleaning. That's all. That's all we do. We're helping hands and manpower because we're all equally trained, and we know a lot of our training is short-lived. It'll never be needed. You don't entertain it, we never see it. There's way more intelligent people, and nowadays they blind us. So we're not setting anybody up to fail. Stay focused, you ensure a great life, zero risk, and we implement the same healthy patterns to the next planet, and then the next planet. All right. So there shouldn't be no homeless people anymore. All right. You need to take initiative in leadership, or you'll just go down with poor leadership because there's other people seeing you. When you establish the good word, you gotta let it be known the difference. I got your back. Let's make sure you're healthy. All right. Come on over. We'll provide you a job opportunity. You're gonna build with us. We're gonna build a big home for you. Mansions on a default laid out surveyed land. It's yours. You wanna keep affording it? Keep building with us. And then off to the next country, off to the next country. Because if they're sick, we're sick. What's in front of you is a reflection of your health. What's in front of you's health is a reflection of your health. So everything must be legalized and organized with age restrictions, warning signs. We don't want them out there dishing out whatever for a quick buck, only valuing them and their family in arm's reach. And then it becomes a mess. And you do not want to keep on toxifying the public and just like off your ego or whatever. We're helping hands and manpower, making sure everybody's cared for, unbothered. And they can think for themselves, everybody can. That's why it takes you always remaining constant on good education and constant education. So you can take care of the seen and unseen. You implement yourself on media, internet. We already caught algorithms with hashtags, making sure, if we do hear conflict, we don't act on impulse because we understand, and we throw billboards up of helping hands, of, caring communities. We all bear the same fruits. Stop making things up in your head, all right? There will never be any war or conflict ever again. Ever. God demands it. It's a lose-lose situation doing that. I can't believe it. And they were funding that shit. Just for people making equipment, doing all that, just to adapt to shit. And we know how to never see it again. The rest of the world knows how to never see it again. And we heard stories together because all of our families have been involved. I don't know what you're making up in your head. But people within our agencies were getting bullied because somebody thought they were better than them or thought they were put in position. We heard all those stories. So everybody's employed to keep that healthy balance. And to ensure disease is controlled. There shouldn't be anybody sick. It comes down to needing healthy surroundings. There's some people in old homes for no reason. Because out of nowhere, you guys are putting your attention to conflict and all that shit when there's work to be done. People are in old homes. Homes get old. There's people in old cars. Cars get old. Lack of labor work. So you lean on technology to make your job easy. So now they're creating a habit for themselves just to sit on their ass. It's getting too easy. So that's also prone to disease too. Nobody is playing games. I mean, you owe me your attention and to follow the rules, the mandatory by law healthcare rules. I predicted the pandemic. Mr. Roman from the Bible predicted the pandemic 2016 when God told me very directly with investigative proof that claims I'm way more accurate. Doesn't matter what they called it. People get careless, sickness happens. And it actually happened in 2020 and it killed tons around the world. And God is no joke. You do not know who made the first person. You're only basing off of theories, speculations. All of the knowledge you obtain is up to whatever is presented, like the rest of us, to this day. And we still have to go off of trial and error to reach a conclusion. All right? So you increase those teamwork. Let's do good teamwork, good relations. We're not going to lose sight of that. Good friendships. Dude, there's so much fun to have with each other. God is not going to let toxicity be a thing. We have healthy ways to go about it. Tons of healthy ways and very effective. Way more effective with a good word than it is to be out there initiating combat training for no reason. When nowadays, I'm telling you what they try to do to me and the people. Radioactivities, using our bodies as a conductor of electricity, like using a phone, forced dreams, forced like thought patterns. And then people make it a habit for themselves and then they lose sight of the value of how they even get blessed in the first place. And then you guys become annoying and are egotistic and think you're better than everybody else when everybody is working together. And then they resort to what? Medicine. They resort to unorthodox things that harms everybody along with them. We don't want you to be seen as just a fucking head. We don't want you to be like valueless. We don't want to put you in harm's way when there's no reason to. We become friends through education, constant education. There's tons of work to be done, dude. Construct new roads. Those drones, instead of like using it pointless on fucking like combat shit, dude, no, that's short-lived for you and for whoever's entertaining that shit with you. Short-lived, dude. You can use them to survey land, to scout new land, to how to effectively cut some nice lumber easier, better. And now that after everything's conquered in the healthiest way, now there's more life to live. And there's tons of constant education that needs to be implemented constantly because new life keeps coming in. It's all going to come down to having more life to live. when we're all doing the same healthy task patterns. And then to the next planet we go. And we implement that same healthy pattern there. You think God was playing? People just don't think, hey, let's go to the next planet. And we found life in the next planet. So there's going to be other animals there to watch out for too. So approach with caution. Don't entertain short-lived scenarios off your ego or whatever you think you're doing. And then they do this like, they just like make things up in their head when you don't remain constant on education, dude. You have to be very, very firm before presenting blessings. There's so much fun for everybody to have. Everybody staying used to each other is very important. That's why you're noticing satellites coming up. So everybody can remain connected. It'll reflect free of charge, but it'll reflect in your wages. The tariff was a demand to increase those wages, or you guys are fucked. Instead of like speculating like, oh, tariffs are, shouldn't be, or tariffs are... Dude, all of these things are because to create demand on wage increases, man. And then you get bought out by somebody that doesn't value you. We don't want nobody to be taken advantage of. We don't want nobody to be used for their own personal gain. So get all that shit out of your head immediately. We're just helping hands and manpower, dude. With the right direction, with shit out of your head completely, then every problem becomes very noticeable. Instead of investigating off he say or she say. You see the fucking luxury that you guys have now? That shouldn't even be. It's wasting people's time. It's wasting people's time to keep the world healthy. And we've seen, dude, like, people literally will claim they have so much experience. All that crime and shit is because of the lack of constant education, the lack of spreading that good word. That's why you keep seeing it, because you keep on just adapting to it. You keep on just glorifying that they got caught because of this. So once you have them, you correct them. Legalize everything. There's nothing anybody can go out and try to be sneaky with. Now it's with us. It's a together thing. We never leave you astray with God. Never. So you're not going to be trying to set up people for no reason. Because you're embarrassed that we put you on blast for creating confusion in the public, shocking our heads, shocking our hearts, like if life was such a game to you. Now you won't have some egotistic person that made money the easiest, fastest way and then come to a community that values this and that and try to like bribe you with a top dollar to like have you controlled by their decisions or whatever. Now you implement teamwork. Where's the leadership in you? This is mandatory by law, dude. To increase your wages when you always need to be aware of the economy, prices. We can't have that radioactivity or whatever you're doing to the people. We can't have that. Because people, what's going to happen is people are not going to want to produce anymore. Animals are going to get sick. They're going to get careless. There's going to be an imbalance of men and women. People are going to conflict over each other's relationships, wanting this person, that person, there's gonna be a lot of conflict. It gets that fucking innocently deadly, dude. People deserve their privacy. You just need to be a good leader. Implement that constant education, constantly, every day, and that guarantees you to always have a great life. God is good all the time. I don't know why you were funding, whoever it was, funding shit. Pure shit. And then, dude, they literally, we've heard together, they get jealous or over like a position or title that they think is like honorable or whatever. Dude, it's shit to everybody else. It matters, it doesn't matter. Off you go, toxifying yourselves, rooting for your own death, but not anymore. And then you're gone, and then we don't want to be the ones that said, told you so. So now we're noticing it, and now we're constant on this education. All together, all of our families together, stronger than ever, with God, side by side. And it's such a beautiful experience to have God very, very present right in front of you in the flesh. God every turn, no one excluded. Every animal, God. Everything's respected because we have that great relationships. Because we all follow the rules necessary so it won't end all of civilization. A lot of times these medications, they're already been existing. They have great results, you know. They just rebrand them, you know, and then they use them. It's going to get to a point where all of sickness is going to be eliminated completely. So we don't want anybody adapting to the sick anymore. When we already solved all of that. It's all going to come down to more life to live. Because we already did our chores for today. Now we all come back home to our big homes, to our brand new, luxurious surroundings everywhere in the world. You know, it's so easy and convenient because we tell you this information for free on YouTube. And it's very important because labor work is very in demand. Shelf life needs to remain constant on our produce. Needs to be refrigerated in transit. It needs to be cared for with constant education, implemented constantly on the importance on why we need to care for our consumption, all broad spectrum. So we don't fall short on these judgments when you hear from the public that we're just jealous. Because marijuana is very healing. People live a long, great life. PRN as needed. Just like your teas, food, vegetables, it needs to be cared for. Because we heard some government officials pepper spraying our fucking harvest, man. Like a fucking way to clean the streets. Off of a fucking uneducated, like, way to do it, dude. That's why everybody needs to remain equally educated. They're even passing laws of synthetic shit. Synthetic opioids like fentanyl is not just made out the blue. And nothing crosses our borders without our clearance. So now you understand that it's not even a handful that are full of shit. They lack direction. Increase those wages and you build side by side with the detainees. There's no need to be impulsive. Some people were adapting and funding interrogation units where there's like, damn, dude, over time, we notice they're fucking idiots. When everybody already knows how to never see it ever again. Now you have to lead by example. You don't know what the fuck they did. All you're hearing is he say, she say. That's it. Nowadays they're doing that radioactivity and light projection, making and putting words in people's mouth, literally. Not even a fucking handful to confuse everybody else. So you take them in. You always let them know that short-lived. I don't know who was messing with you. Now there's nowhere anybody can go to be sneaky, dude. Live surveillance on all of our public establishments, public roads, on every neighborhood. Everything legalized and distributed with warning signs. No excuse. Now we're going to get you that big house. We're building it together. We're giving you that big mansion. And you're going to keep affording that. You're going to keep on building with us for the rest of us. And every so often, as years pass, you're going to have to remain constant on rebuilding that. Okay, so as far as equity goes, let's say you build a brand new house, right? You're a first-time home buyer. The house is sold to you for $500,000, right? You're living in it. 5 years, 10 years pass. Out of those 10 years, you brought that initial price that you bought that house for was at $500,000. Now it's at $300,000. So now you have $200,000 to work with. And that's your equity that you've accumulated living in that house for 10 years. And you could use those $200,000 in great equity to bring your balance up back to $500,000. You present yourself to the bank and you let them know, hey, I want to use a home line of equity with you, bank. The bank says, okay, great. We already have construction workers working with us. Before they even dish out the $200,000, they pay the construction workers with you at the same time. Whatever it may be cost to build that new house or new land that you scouted and you want to build a new home. So now the house that you gain that equity, now you can go ahead and provide another new life coming in. You can provide them with a brand new house and keep them healthy. And now you're living in this home, and that first home is paying itself with the new life that you blessed with health and a roof over their head. And then you're living in this home. This equity of this first house is dropping down as far as that new life that you blessed, that first house. Over the years, maybe the tenants that you have in that first house are living there in a span of 10 years, and you were living here as if it was your first house, right? So both of you are living, in 10 years, you're already back to $200,000 in equity from your first house again. And now you have an extra $200,000 in equity from your second home. All right? You go to the bank, you say, I want to open a home line of equity. Now you're working with $400,000, and you're going to invest it in another piece of land that you found. And you're going to invest it properly, because it all comes down to healthcare. That's how you stay living and you stay healthy. When you keep your surroundings under healthy living standards, that guarantees you to be under healthy living standards at all times. All right? So, increase your wages internally, very healthy. Partner with your contractors. They would love to teach you as a policeman. They would love to teach you as military, as border patrol. We're seeing conflict and, so they're going to love to work with you. And they're going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to build now. We're building. It's always been that. I want you to know this. So we're building, providing, homes for the detainees. Big house, no time wasted. So you already have that healthy wage increase. And now you get funded through every piece of land. If it's a vacant land, well, with the vacant land, the mortgage companies will hand you a check to buy out your land. They already have contractors that they work with. So they'll build your land, they'll pay you. After they pay you, then you can use that to distribute the workers, but they usually already have workers working for them. And now it comes down to just working side by side and building side by side with them. All right? Because learning how to getting funded by these projects is the easy part. Now we need people to really work side by side together. And not only that, they need the firmness on what to look out for. Don't be short-lived, because we're offering a better opportunity. You're not going to lack anything ever in life. Everything's going to be legalized. Like all of these bad habits that they want to choose for themselves, they were taught. They were taught, dude. So now you have them present. Now we correct together. And a lot of people in the agency need to be corrected too. All right? And we all work side by side as one. Building good friendships. There's great laughs, dude. Great laughs, great friendships, great relations to enjoy. Everybody healthy, away from disease. You don't want to be going out and then out of nowhere, you have your friends or family, acquaintance, fucking blistering off the face, like, what the fuck? And then, like, you get all disease and you guys turn into zombies or something. Work needs to be done. You're not going to be misguided or left astray. Now we have the helping hands in manpower that we've accumulated and based great relationships all around. Dude, ask the people on the ground, dude. We are best of friends. Military, police, FBI, Border Patrol. Because they know when they see it, oh, they're going to be taken care of. They're going to provide me a job opportunity. I'm going to be great. I'm going to have a big ass house. I'm going to be working side by side with them. And then we help the other families. It's very clear with God. Very clear. There's no reason why anybody should be confusing themselves. And then we can, have these jobs, the wells underwater. Oil is very important as well too. So we can remain all connected and staying used to each other. That's very important. That eliminates disease itself. You need to know why it's booming. It's not just because vehicles and they need gas and then that's all they thought. That's all they thought. No, like, understand, yes, that's a factor, but it's also a reason why everybody in the world is together with all of everything else, because it keeps everybody staying connected. It keeps everybody staying used to each other, and that alone eliminates all disease and conflict. Oh, we're already used to each other. I understand. Now it comes down to labor work has to be done. They got unmotivated. Now you know why you shouldn't be unmotivated. This is why we're even alive right now to this day. And we're guaranteed a nice life, unbothered, and we have a great life getting along with the public and going out. Who's gonna be, making, since all of the brand new life keeps coming in rapidly, who's gonna keep on making, our nice drinks that everybody loves, our foods to be handled with the same care like everybody does? Who's gonna want to be making our clothes and making it look hot and making it, spreading the good word? And dude, it's all very, very important. It eliminates all disease, dude. Great relationships, worldwide, internationally, best of friends, dude. I swear, dude. I mean, God is good all the time. It's always such a great experience. God every turn, really, it's perfect. So, understand why we keep our great relationships and we have each other's backs everywhere in the world. Not only do we find out when, where, why, right? But we also eliminate all disease and ensures all of our privacy and consumption to be respected. And when we go back home, we don't have to worry, because now we know, oh, they're great. They're equally blessed. Knowing their personality, they probably made their situation way more better and put their style and their own flavor on it, So it's going to be an experience if they ever invite us to a cookout. Now you can dive into architecting. Nobody should ever be fired, because then you don't solve the problem and you don't see any real change. You correct. Hey, let's not do that. There's a better way to do that. All right, there's rules we have to follow. You have a great personality. I see greatness in you. You just have to be directed the right way. We have builders in every establishment. It's very important for everybody to accumulate that building skill, because that's going to always need to be. We're always going to need to be cleaning after everything's brand new too. There's a humongous world. Debris fly. People aspirate. People encounter different foods. That's a different wave of attention that you need to also take for consideration. That's why wind keeps going in around the world. We need to clean, disinfect at all times. And the disinfection needs to be also in a healthier way too. Through our plants, through our natural acidic foods, to eliminate all bacteria or germs, instead of having harsh chemicals, knowing where if we cleaned the table, we want to make sure that that person, we want to make sure that God is not going to be all, being all life-threatened while they're eating their meal on a very recently cleaned surface with harmful chemicals, because those chemicals also give that odor And that odor can create like a chemical reaction to one's sensitive sinuses too. And all of the solutions to all of these things that we face together, you go straight to the solution. And you don't see any problems ever. So understand that what you see in the media, whether it be horrific, a great thing, it's all the good word. It's all education. Just like the Bible, it's education. No, the Romans wrote the Bible, along with partnerships from all of our families. It took togetherness and spreading the good word and understanding this is how we live, because God directly directed us together. We're all equal. God every turn. So you listen to God. And you can always talk to God. Don't lean on your own understanding. You give it to God. And when you encounter new life, all you feel is knowledge, dude. It's just knowledge. God bless.